So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers of PBS in Canada and States have been treated in recent days, probably one of the most important music documentaries of 2024. And I'm kind of surprised nothing was done on her previously because when I was growing up, she was considered like the princess of rockabilly, the princess of country, the princess of pop, princess of rock, a contemporary of Elvis Presley, Conway Twitty, and all the big rockabilly and rock stars of the country rock era. Boys, oh boys, Brenda Lee, Little Miss Dynamite. What a documentary that was. You can probably see it on your local PBS in Canada and the States. Now, born Brenda Mae Tarpley, known professionally as Brenda Lee, she's an American singer. Now, known for rock and roll, pop, rockabilly, country, gospel, and torch songs. Yes, she did torch songs. She achieved her first Billboard hit age 12 in 1957, and it was given the nickname again, Little Miss Dynamite. That original, 45 is a collector's item. Some of Lee's most successful songs included Sweet Nothings, I'm Sorry, I Want to Be Wanted, Speak to Me Pretty, All Alone Am I, and Losing You. Her festive song, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, recorded in 1958, finally topped the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 in 2023. This is 65 years after release, making Lee the oldest artist ever to top the charts and broke several chart records. Having sold over 100 million records around the world, she's one of the most successful American artists of the 20th century. She was the second woman ever to top the Billboard Hot 100 after the late Connie Francis, when her song I'm Sorry reached number one in 1960. Her U.S. success in the 60s earned her recognition as Billboard's top female artist of the decade and one of four artists who charted the most singles, behind Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and Ray Charles. Her accolades included a Grammy Award, 4 NARM Awards, 3 NME Awards, and 5 Edison Awards. She's the first woman to be inducted into both the Country Music Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2023, she was named by Rolling Stone as one of the greatest singers of all time. Now, born Brenda Mae Tarpley on December 11, 1944, in the charity ward of Grady Hospital in Atlanta, to parents Annie Grace, near Yarborough, who passed away in 2006, and her father Reuben Lindsay Tarpley, who passed away in 1953. She weighed only 4 pounds 11 ounces at birth. She attended primary schools wherever her father found work, mainly between Atlanta and Augusta. Her family was dirt poor. As a child, she shared a bed with her brother and sister in a series of 3-room houses without running water. Life centered on her parents finding work, their family, and the Baptist church, where she began singing solos every Sunday. Now, Lee's father was a farmer's son in Georgia's Red Clay Belt. Standing 5'7", he was an excellent left-handed pitcher and played baseball while serving 11 years in U.S. Army. Her mother was a working-class member from Greene County, Georgia. Though her family did not have indoor plumbing until after her father's death, they had a battery-powered table radio that fascinated Brenda as a baby. Both her mother and sister remembered taking her repeatedly to a local candy store before she turned 3. Brenda Lee in the documentary recounted this. One of them would stand her on the counter and she would earn candy or coins for singing, and that was her first paid job, she said. Now, Lee's voice, face, and stage presence won her wider attention from a young age. At age 5, she won first place at her school's talent show contest, where she sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game. She wanted to win the candy for second prize, but she won first prize. Her performance generated positive reviews, leading her to make regular appearances on local radio TV shows. Now, she said at the time she was getting her first debuts, she was getting about $10. Her father unfortunately died in 1953 when she was 8 in a construction accident, and by the time she turned 10, she was the primary breadwinner of the family through singing at events and on local radio and TV shows. During that time, she appeared regularly in the country music show TV Ranch on Wagga TV in Atlanta. She was so short, the host would lower a stand microphone as low as could go and stand her up in a wooden crate to reach it. In 1955, Grace Tarpley married Buell J. Rainwater, who moved the family to Cincinnati, Ohio, where he worked at the Jimmy Skinner Music Center. Lee then eventually performed with Skinner at the record store on 2 Saturday programs broadcast over Newport, Kentucky radio station WNOP. The family soon returned to Georgia, but this time to Augusta, and she appeared on the Peach Blossom Special on WJAT in Swainsboro. Now, Lee's breakthrough again came in February 1955 when she turned down $30, which was valued at $350 in 2024 dollars, to appear on a Swainsboro radio station in order to see Red Foley in a touring promotional unit of the ABC TV program Ozark Jubilee in Augusta. In Augusta, the disc jockey persuaded Foley to hear her sing before the show. Red did and agreed to let her perform Jambalaya on stage that night, which became one of her signature songs. She said she was a big fan of Hank Williams. Foley later recounted the moments following the introduction. I still get cold chills thinking about the first time I heard her voice. One foot started patting rhythm as though she was stomping on a prairie fire, but not another muscle in that body even as much twitched. And when she did that trick of breaking her voice, it jarred me out of my trance enough to realize I'd forgotten to get off stage. There I stood, after 26 years of supposedly learning how to conduct myself in front of an audience, with my mouth open 2 miles wide and a glassy stare in my eyes. Now, she peaked, I think it was 4'10", 4'9", give or take. Now, on March 31st, 55, she made her debut on Ozark Jubilee in Springfield, Missouri. Although her 5-year contract with the show was broken by a 57 lawsuit brought by her mother and manager, she nevertheless made regular appearances in the program throughout this run. Now, less than 2 months later, on July 30th, 1956, Decca offered her a contract, and her first record, of course, was Jambalaya, back with Bigelow 6200. Lee's second single featured 2 novelty Christmas tunes, I'm Gonna Lasso Santa Claus and Christy Christmas. Though she turned 12 on December 11, 56, both of her first 2 Decca singles credit her as little Brenda Lee, 9 years old. Neither of the 56 releases charted, but her first issue was in 57, One Step at a Time, written by Hugh Ashley, became a hit in both the pop and country fields. Her next hit, Dynamite, coming out of a 4'9" frame, led to her lifelong nickname, Little Miss Dynamite. Now, her performance of Rockabilly, there was a kind of a... Before Patsy Cline was big, she had that kind of big girl aesthetic that you would see in Loretta Lynn, you would see in Tanya Tucker, and see in Trisha Yearwood. And it's no surprise that Tucker and Yearwood spoke on the documentary talking about the impact she had on their lives. Now, she first attracted attention performing at country music venues and shows. However, her label and management felt it best to market her exclusively as a pop artist, the result being that none of her best-known recordings from the 60s were released to country radio. And despite her country sound with the top Nashville session people, she did not have another country hit until 1969 with Johnny One Time. Now, from 58 to 66, this was her biggest era. Mostly, again, the pop charts with rockabilly and rock and roll style songs. Her biggest hits include Jambalaya, Sweet Nothings, that's a really strong number. Number 4, written by country musician Ronnie Self. I Want to Be Wanted, which was the first number 1. All Alone Am I, number 3. Fool, number 1, which went number 3. She had more hits with more pop-based songs. That's All You Gotta Do, number 6. Emotions, number 7. You Can Depend on Me, number 6. Dum Dum, number 4. 62's Break It to Me Gently, number 2. Everybody Loves Me But You, number 6. And As Usual, number 12. Her total of 9 consecutive top 10 Billboard Hot 100 hits from That's All You Gotta Do in 60 through All Alone in Mine 62 set a record for a female solo artist that was not equaled until 86 by guess who? Madonna. In 58, when Lee was 13, producer Owen Bradley asked her to record a new song by Johnny Marks, who had success writing Christmas tunes for country singers, most notably Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Great by Gene Autry, and Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives. Lee recorded the song Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree in July with a proud twanging guitar part by Hank Garland and rock and sax soloing by Nashville icon Boots Randolph. Decca released it as a single that November, but it sold only 5,000 copies. It did not do so much better when it was released again in 59. However, over the last 65 years, it eventually sold more than 5 million copies. Since 2007, the song has appeared at the end of each year on the Billboard Hot 100, having spent, as of December 9, 2023, 54 weeks on the Hot 100, peaking at number 1 in 2023. And this is beating up Mariah Carey and Paul McCartney. In 1960, she recorded her signature song, the torch ballad I'm Sorry. However, the record initially was withheld for months before its release due to concern that a 15-year-old would not understand what she was singing about in that love song, which was sort of like the How Do I Live controversy years later. The song became one of the biggest hits of 1960, reaching the number 1 chart position in the U.S. and number 12 in the U.K., which broke her overseas. was her first gold single and was nominated for a Grammy. Even though it was not released as a country song, it was among the first big hits to use what has become the Nashville sound, a string orchestra and legato harmonized background vocals. As we're rocking around the Christmas tree, it was finally noticed in its third release a few months later, and sales snowballed. The song remains a perennial favorite each December and is the record from which she was most identified by contemporary audiences. Now, she was doing also international versions of her key songs in the different languages, German, Japanese, and different stuff. And she was, again, her and Elvis were on the same path. It was up and up and up. But unfortunately, the last top 10 single on the pop charts in the States, besides the reappearance each November, December since 2007 of Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, was 63's Losing You, which went to number 6. Now in 64, as usual, reached number 12 in the US and number 5 in the UK, and coming on strong was number 11 in the States. Also in 64, Is It True? Peaked at number 17 in both US and UK, featuring Big Jim Sullivan on guitar, Jimmy Page on guitar, and Bobby Graham on drums. It was her only hit single recorded in London, and it was produced by Mickey Mose. The slide guitar and background singers were overdubbed in Nashville. It was recorded at Decca Records, number 2 studio at the West Hampstead complex, as well as the UK B-side, a version of Ray Charles' 1959 classic What I'd Say, which was not released in the States. It Is True was composed by a noted British songwriting team, Ken Luce and John Carter, who were also members of the UK hitmakers, the Ivy League. Now, Lee was popular in the United Kingdom from early in her career. She performed on British TV in 1959 before she had achieved much pop recognition in the States. The first hit single in the UK was Sweet Nothings, which peaked at number 4 in the UK in the spring of 1960. She subsequently had a UK hit in 61 with Let's Jump the Broomstick, a rockabilly number recorded in 59, which had not charted in the States, but reached number 12 in the UK. Now, Lee had 2 top 10 hits in the UK that were not released as singles in her native country. The first, Speak to Me Pretty, was number 3 in May 62. It was her greatest hit in the UK by chart placing, swiftly followed by Here Comes That Feeling, which reached with number 5 in the summer of 62. The latter was issued as a B-side to Everybody Loves Me But You in the States, which peaked at number 6 in the Billboard Hot 100. However, Here Comes That Feeling also made an appearance in the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 89 despite his B-side status in the U.S. Now, in 62, while touring West Germany, Lee appeared at the Star Club in Hamburg with the Beatles, the Silver Beatles, as the opening act, and she said John Lennon was her favorite for obvious reasons. Lee also had big hits in the UK with All Alone Am I, which went number 7 in 63, and as usual, in number 5 in 64. She first visited the UK for 3 days in April 59 as a last-minute replacement on Oh Boy. She first toured the UK in March and April 62 with Gene Vincent and Sounds Incorporated as her backing group, and she toured the country for a second time in March 63, this time supported by The Bachelors, Sounds Incorporated, Tony Sheridan, and Mike Berry. Lee also toured the Republic of Ireland in 63 and appeared on the cover of the Irish Dancing and Entertainment magazine Spotlight in April of that year. Now, after appearing at the annual Royal Variety Performance before Elizabeth II at the London Palladium in November 64, she toured the UK again in November and December 64, supported by Manfred Mann, Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, the John Barry Seven, Wayne Montana and the Mindbenders, Marty Wilde, the Tornadoes, and Henry Burtz. Now, during the 70s, she reestablished herself as a country music artist. In his 96 memoir, TV producer Sam Lavolo stated that Lee's 72 appearance on his variety show Hee Haw had been instrumental in the comeback. She earned a string of top 10 hits in the U.S. on the country charts, the first of which was Nobody Wins, which reached the top 5 that spring, and became her last top 100 pop hit, as the Corsoverson song peaked at number 70. The follow-up by the Mark James composition Sunday Sunrise reached number 6 on the Hot Country single chart that October. Other major hits included Wrong Ideas, Big Four Poster Bed, and Rock On Baby and He's My Rock. After a few years of lesser hits, she began another run at the top 10 with the 1979's Tell Me What It's Like. 2 follow-ups also reached the top 10 in 1980, the Cowgirl and the Dandy and Broken Trust, which was backed by the Oak Ridge Boys. A 62 album, The Winning Hand, featuring Lee along with Dolly Parton, Chris Christopherson, and Willie Nelson, was a surprise hit, reaching the top 10 U.S. country charts. Her last well-known hit was 84's Hallelujah, I Love Her So, in a duet with George Jones. Lee sang the song individually before and released it in 1960 on This Is Brenda. In 92, Lee recorded the duet You'll Never Know with Willie DeVille on his album Loup Garou. Now, Lee's autobiography, Little Miss Dynamite, The Life and Times of Brenda Lee, is a great read. It was published by Hyperion in 2002. If you can find a copy, please buy it. Now, Lee's most recent album release was a gospel collection in 2007. Although she no longer tours and fairly performs, since the millennium she's involved with her work for the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum. On October 4th, 2000, she inducted fellow country music legends Farron Young and Charlie Pride in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Lee is often called upon to announce the annual inductees to the Country Music Hall of Fame and then officially present them with their membership medallions at a special ceremony every year. Key ones that she put in were Randy Travis, Charlie D'Angelo, and Fred Foster. Now, since 2019, since Billboard modified his recurring rules in 2012, Lee's Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree has regularly returned to the Billboard Hot 100 since 2015. On the Hot 100 chart dated December 21st, 2019, it reached a new peak of number 3 in the States with 37.1 million streams and 5,000 digital sales sold. The following week, it moved up to number 2, where it remained for a second week. From 2019 to 2022, the song was re-peaked at number 12, blocked by the top position by Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and of course, was knocked off last year. Now, in November 2023, to celebrate the song's 65th anniversary, she released a music video featuring lip-syncing the original recording at a house party with Daniel Tucker and Trisha Yearwood. Lee has also joined social media platform TikTok to promote the song, where she posts videos reminiscing about the song's history and success. Now, in the Billboard Hot 100 charts dated December 9, 2023, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree topped the Hot 100 for the first time in the States, becoming Lee's third number 1 hit and her first since her 1960 single, I Want to Be Wanted. At the time, she was 78, and she became the oldest female artist and the oldest artist overall to top the 100, feats formerly held by Cher and Louis Armstrong, respectively. The week following, she held the number 1 spot, which also meant she surpassed her own age record, having turned 79 during the week ending December 16, 2023. Following 2 weeks off number 1, on the week ending January 6, she returned to number 1 for an additional week. Now, a Lee-approved AI-generated Spanish-language version, Noche Buena y Navidad, appeared on October 25th, 2024. Now, ironically, on September 26, 1986, she was installed in the Atlanta Music Hall of Fame 5th Annual Award Ceremony held at the Radisson Inn in Atlanta. She was named among other recordings artists including Riley Puckett, Gig Tanner, Dave Hornsby, Clayton McKitchen, and Boots Wodell. Lee reached the final ballot for induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990 and 2001 without being inducted, but she was finally voted in the Hall of Fame in 2002. So it took her 12 years to get in the Hall of Fame. Wow. Celebrating her 50 years as a recording artist in September 2006, she was the second recipient of the Joe Meter Walker Lifetime Achievement Award by the Source Foundation in Nashville. In 1997, she was inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame and is a member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame and the Hit Parade Hall of Fame. Now, in 2008, her recording of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree marked 50 years as a holiday standard, and in February 2009, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences gave Lee a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award. Now, in 2023, Rolling Stones ranked Lee as number 161 on his list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Now, Grammy Award nominations. Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Didn't win for I'm Sorry in 1961. Didn't win for Johnny One Time in 1970. She was nominated for Best Female Country Vocal Performance at the Grammys. Tell Me What It's Like in 1980. Grammy Hall of Fame. I'm Sorry was inducted. Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award she won in 2009. And she got the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2019 for Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Now, Lee met Charles Ronald Rodney Shacklet in November 1962 at a concert by Bo Diddley and Jackie Wilson hosted at Nashville's Fairgrounds Coliseum. She married her tall man less than 6 months later on April 24, 1963. Lee and Shacklet have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren. Lee is also a cousin by marriage, by way of her mother's second marriage, to singer Dave Rainwater from the New Christy Minstrels. Now, the many records, but the key ones were, again, Rock the Bop, Brenda Lee, 1960. But the discography that's been singles, just friggin' amazing. Jambalaya was the key one. Now, she had 2 music videos, 90 lead artist singles, 4 collaborative and featured singles, 9 foreign language singles, promotional singles 21, and 19 songs that charted in other ways. And again, Jambalaya was the first big single, and of course, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. But again, she was doing standards, including Bill Bailey, Would You Please Come Home, which was covered by the Beatles. Again, tremendous singles. Now, there's also collaborative and featured audience. She did Cabaret with P. Fontaine in 68. You're Going to Love Yourself in the Morning with Willie Nelson in 83. Hallelujah, I Love You So in 84. And she did America the Beautiful in 2001. A very, very strong Christmas artist. So she did a whole bunch of international singles where 2 of them appeared in Germany. And she did a song called One Rainy Night in Tokyo, which hit top 10. Now, promotional singles, she did Swanee River Rock, Fools Rush In, A Marshmallow World, Fool Number 1, Just Because, and the I'm Sorry, again, it was released several times. Now, she's had many holiday chart entries. Just to recap, Rockin' Around, like Jingle Bell Rock, does a great version. She's been top 90 with that for several years. In 2024, at this writing, it's number 2 on the charts. So from 2011, third, second, third, second, third, second, first, and second as we're going along at Christmas. And she did the Honky Tonks medley, our first video with Katie Lang, Loretta Lynn, and Kitty Wells. If you can find it, it's a beautiful song, ladies and gentlemen. And Running Bear did a Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree video with Tanya Tucker and Trisha Yearwood. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the words of my good friend Carol St. Croix, big Patsy Cline fan, do not underestimate a country singer who can sing a torch song, or a torch singer can sing a country song. There is no way that Brenda Lee can be stated how important she is to rock and roll, to rockabilly, to pop, to country. She is the iconic great-grandmother, or the mother. She's mother country. She's mother pop and she's mother rockabilly. My only regret, she never did a duet with Fabian. She had a crush on him many years ago. Didn't do any work with Elvis Presley, or not much. But seeing when Brenda Lee did that with George Jones' Boys, I said to myself, maybe a little of a Brenda Lee stardust. And Brenda Lee basically has always been a very spiritual person. And the people who follow her career know that she's a very religious person. I think God gave us Brenda Lee. And she's still around to tell the story. And no matter what it is, Christmas or rockabilly or whatever, she is basically one of the most iconic artists of all time, one of the greatest singers of all time. It's my honor to present some of the information of her career. There's no podcast or documentary you could do it. You could do every year of her life and do a story, a sad song, a happy song. But when you hear Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, it's like, what were people thinking about rock and roll? Did that quiet rock and roll in the Bible Belt, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree? Did she break rock and roll for everybody? Did she break doors down for Elvis and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles? Well, the Beatles opened for her. You do the math. And a lot of the songs that the Beatles were covering were Brenda Lee songs, or she made them popular. Like, it's pretty bizarre. So, and she's still around to tell the tale. And if I ever meet Brenda Lee, I'm going to say 2 words. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our vintage country podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.